Hello, and welcome to the Hessian Scrum episode 6. Joining me today is Kim, the CEO, well, the owner of a very exciting new company called GuitarScales.com. Hello, Kim.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. A bit early in the morning for me, but it's all right. So, tell us, what is GuitarScales.com?
GuitarScales.com is a new company that just started. It's a project that I've been thinking about for years, and I had no time to do it. But luckily, I got locked down in April, like everybody with COVID-19, and I had some time to do it. So what I did is I went to there was a compositor named William Zettler, and his website is allthescales.org. And this guy has been just trying to find every possibility for scale with the 12 tone temperament, and he just end up with 1490 possible scales, like maybe 1490 possible scales, which are with a minimum of a half tone and a maximum of a major tail or maybe two tone. And he just basically he just put it all on his website with all the scale with the 4 notes up until 12 notes. And I've been looking around all of this website, and I've been trying to put it in a way that I could understand it better, and find different let's say scales that nobody never heard before. And I tried to just analyze everything. And right now, what I did is I did two books, one for brutal slam death and the other one for black metal. And I've been just choosing the scales that I thought that were closely to the metal subgenre, and I just put out two books with 38 scales into each books with different chord shape. And everybody that wants to write some music, it just buy the book, and in the chord section they just start to play some chords, and at some point you'll end up with a riff within minutes. And you have everything in the book that's going to help you to just stay in the scale, and go beyond the scale too. And it's just like a new tool to write some music that never came around before. And it's just like super easy to write something. Everything is already let's say everything has been break down for you. So all you have to do is to follow what's in the book, and you be sure that you can write something that is totally insane, super fast, and different than any other way before. That's it.
Yeah, I have your black metal book here, thy third wave of black metal. And one thing that's really interesting is how you designed this book, in that you don't even need to know how to anything about music theory, because it's all there in tabs. And you did it for three types of guitar. So you've got the standard um, 6 string drop tuning, and a 7 string. I mean,
Yeah, that's right. The goal was to avoid using notes names, because at some point, whenever you talk music with other musicians, you always end up mess up, because everybody is using uh, all the do re mi fa sol la si do kind of thing. And with um, because everything is related into music, so you can talk in a way of you are in a do major or C major, and at the same time you are in A minor. But if nobody understand each other, it's very hard. So right now in the book there's no note. It's just like fret of a guitar, where you start on the fret of a guitar. And I have another system that's coming up, that's going to be in the next book, or the updated version of the book, and you'll be able to tell every note, but right now it's not there. But this just, it's just the simplest way of, if starting to write music, because you don't waste your time trying to learn stuff that you don't really need. It's just like some extra stuff. All you need is just to see where the notes are on your neck, and what's the chord possibilities are, and you just start right away and try to play some chords, and that's it. You're right into writing at the starting point, instead of trying to learn everything from musical theory and then being able to write. You just start at the level of writer.
And I absolutely love this book. And I also received the Brutal Slam Death Pandemia CD, which features scales from the Brutal Slam Death version of this book, right?
That's it. The Brutal Slam Death was the first book I put out, and right now I wrote an album with that book of 31 minutes. There's 8 songs, and right now there's only one that's it's on YouTube, but it's just a demo version of it. And I've been sending those songs to drummers all around the world. I can mention all the drummers that will be working on this album. I have them right here. So we have Marco Petruzella, we have Kevin Paradis, Derek Rody, Kyle Eddy, Kevin Taylor, and John Longstretch. So they will be all playing one song, and it's going to be out pretty soon, maybe in a month or 2 from now. And you will be able to, with the book, I will I will make a way that you can find the right scale, or just an example of the scale with the album. So I used every scale that are in the book, and I will add something into the book pretty soon, that you will be able to check which scale is used in the album. So it's going to be more interactive like this. So it's going to be easier for you to understand how a certain type of scale sounds like, because you'll be able to hear what I did with the riff. So this is all coming up pretty soon. Right now it's not out yet, but very soon I'll do the same thing for black metal book. It's just that I'm missing time right now, trying to work and do everything just like everybody. But this is all going to come up pretty soon, and everybody will get to understand better what I'm trying to do with these books.
Yeah, because it is a lot of information, and I'm taking my time on learning the scales. A friend of mine who also has the PDF version of the book as well. We're just constantly taking a random page and just tremolo picking the first thing that comes to mind. But it would be very cool, if there was some kind of context to it. Because one thing that's really interesting is that on the website there's a Guitar Pro section coming soon. Could you tell us
Yeah,
more
that's
about
it.
that?
Yeah, that's right. I'll be putting Guitar Pro from all the song that I did. So you'll be able to download every tablature from all the songs that I did from the book. So this is going to get out. And something else that I'm trying to implement right now, it's anybody who could reach me by email or by Facebook could send me like maybe a tablature of their own riff that they are looking to uh, put some lead guitar over it. So all you have to do is to send me all the chords that you're using into that riff, or all the notes if it's a trempic kind of riff, and I can analyze that riff, and then just do the same kind of design that I did with the book, and just give you a roadmap just like in the book, but it's going to be a custom one for your riff, and you will be able to get everything you want. It's just if you want all the arpeggios into that riff, I can all take it I'll put it for you. I can give you some more scales that that could fit into the same riffing that you're doing, to explore with different scales. And I could give you some advice on chords that you could add or you could change. I could do anything. All I need is people that send me a tablature of their own riff, or a Guitar Pro of their own riff. I will analyze it, and then I can give you a roadmap with just like the book, same kind of design with the neck with all the notes on the neck, and also arpeggios and other chords and stuff like that. So the possibilities are endless. It's just like a new way for metalheads to write music now, because we've been stuck with the same scales for a very long time, and there is way more out there that we can use, and we can push our music endeavors and music composition to the next level.
Have you used this book in your own music? Because with the order of the book I have, it has your biography. You've played in quite a few bands. I can even see even more so on Metal Archives.
Up until now, when I was playing music, maybe with bands 10 years ago, I had not this this kind of book wasn't out. Just like all of the 1500 possibilities of scales weren't out yet. It's something that I just discovered later, and that I started to work with. So I've never used that for my my bands and all my project before, but right now, since I've been starting those books, and I've been writing albums from the book as an example for everybody, this is the new way of writing for me, for sure. And I really appreciate it, because I can write songs way faster, and they could be way more way more just like it's just like if your music knowledge just extend to the next level, or it's just unlocking stuff that you've been trying to go through all your life. But right now, when you have that roadmap in front of you, like this book, it's just like everything comes clear and it's easier, so, and you can write better and faster.
Yeah, I mean, but what is scary with this book is that I don't think there is time within a single lifetime to really learn how to play all these scales by heart.
No, that's it. There's too much scale. So even me, I don't know them all by heart. It's impossible, because there's too much. But I found a way to classify them, and I found a way to just um, put it on paper in a way that it's understandable. Because otherwise, if you just read that on your musical sheet, or if you just like maybe one tablature that tells you, just like the tablature that it's in the book, at the bottom, it's just like an example of how the scale sounds. But you need all the other octaves to understand where you can go, and you need some software to help you to visualize those scale on the neck. So when I did the whole work over the last years, and now I can put out a book way more faster, and it's going to be way more accurate for everybody to understand, because it's already the hard work is already done. So right now, all I need to do is just pick some musical style of metal, and just analyze what kind of chord that comes more often into that subgender, and I just I can do a book of 38 scales, and they will be pretty accurate to the entire gender, because it's not that very difficult to write in one style. It's mostly some type of chord and some type of scale that always come back. It's just as an example, for power metal, it's mostly major scales, because it's happy and it's glorious and all that stuff. But when you go into brutal slam death, it's more like it's very tritonic, and it's very dissonant. And when you go into melodic black metal, it's way more it's a lot of major and minor third, and a lot of fourth and fifth. So it's mostly we keep that as intervals, instead of it's mostly 2 notes per chord. It's not like 3 notes per chord. And when you go to brutal slam death, it's more like 3 notes per chord. And if you go to technical death metal, you go to 4 notes per chord, and so on and so on. It's just I just took time to analyze every style, and now it's way easier for me to put out a book, and way more accurate for everybody.
Yes, definitely. And from the black metal book I have here, I've noticed that it's very encompassing of all of black metal. Some of these scales work more with maybe like an emperor kind of very melodic style of writing black metal. Well, some of these other scales are almost chromatic in nature, reminding me of bands like Deathspell Omega.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah.
Every band has its own recipe to write a song, for sure. But there's a big trend in the whole black metal gender, and it's mostly minor chords, for sure, and thirds, fourth and fifth. It's everything is in between that. But the problem we have, the problem that I had before when I was writing song, is like, if you can't visualize every possibilities you have with a scale. We used to write a riff, and then next riff we just write another riff. But we all think that we are in, maybe, let's say, E minor or something like this, but we're not exactly in E minor. We're like more like, there's more notes into that scale. So E minor is like a 7-note scale. But if you add more notes, like if you go through octatonic scale or a nonatonic scale, so you go to 8 notes and 9 notes, you get, the more note you get, is the more chord possibilities you get. And when you reach 9-note scale, it's a very, very nice feeling, because it's almost if you had 2 7 notes together that share the same note. So you can go you can write stuff that modulate from one scale to the other one, but you're still in one scale. So that's why the William Zeitler system is very nice, because you have only one name. And in that scale you have many scales, instead of being like in many scale with different name. You have only one name, and everything comes clearer and easier. That's it.
And also one thing that's great, which I've taken a lot of time, is that from every scale you have tetratonic scales, pentatonic scales, hexatonic, even heptatonics. Like from the octatonic, you've got some heptatonic and octatonic, and for the nonatonic, you even have other, the octatonic scale that comes from that scale, which is insane, because a lot of these scales are very obscure, and I keep trying to find them. Like, to be honest, in my limited experience, this is my first time seeing the word tetratonic scale, because it just seems kind of weird to have a 4-note scale. But then, coming up with stuff like Ziffic, I have to look this up online because it's so fascinating. I mean, what could you tell us about, for most people who are only familiar with, heptatonic scales? Can we use these tetratonic scales in metal?
Yes, absolutely. You know, basically a tetratonic scale is actually a chord. It's a chord with four notes. So it's just another way of, you know, saying the same thing. You know, uh, not all of, you know, the those tetratonic are you know, chords. You know, to be you know, chords that we know. It's let's say that taptic is like it's a major seven. So what you can do with this is you can actually, as you mentioned before, when you take nine note scales, you have in the book you have all the eight notes available into that nine notes, and so on. All the seven, you know, note scales available into that nine non-atonic scale. So that what's cool about that is if you write a riff with a nine note scale, and in the book you see that, you know, in the seven note scale or the six note scales you have, you know, a bunch of scales available. You can pick one of those scales and, you know, just, you know, start to play a lead guitar over, you know, your riffing of the nine note scale, and it's going to fit because it's mathematically you know, everything fits together. So you don't have to ask yourself if it's gonna fit. You just follow the dots in the book, and, you know, you can write anything super easy, and it's always gonna fit. Always gonna fit. It's gonna always be in tune with the original scale.
Yes, and you know, for a lot of these the chord diagrams, I've noticed most of the time, you know, you tend to stick with two note chords. Is there a particular reason, or is it because these scales are so complex that you can't really have, you know, traditionally, you know, major and minor bar chords?
No, actually, in the black metal book that you have, there is the minor chords at the top, which are, you know, the one that everybody knows with the bar. But I stick to two notes chords into black metal because most of the time, you know, when I hear some black metal or I play myself some black metal, it's most likely, you know, those chord shape right there. And I call that, you know, voicing. So if you use those chord voicing, you can make sure you'll play some melodic black metal, or you'll be like, you know, pretty close to, you know, what everybody's using. And, you know, I wanted to make sure, you know, I have more than, you know, a power chord, because a power chord, everybody knows a power chord, but, you know, there's more way of, you know, using chords in the scale. And if you only play with power chords, it's okay, you can make a song, it's going to be good. But, you know, if you change your power chord for some other chords, you will extend your music. You will be able to speak differently with your instrument in a way that you never spoke before. So right now in the black metal book, it's most likely two notes per chord. But if you take the Brutal Slam Death, the other book, it's like more like three notes per chord. And it's more dissonant. You know, it's more. It was I just analyzed, you know, every brutal, you know, slam band, and, you know, trying to find, you know, what's the common, you know, kind of chord that are always coming back. And flat five is always like one of the thing that come back. So every chord that actually include a flat five is, you know, will sound more brutal than anything else. So that's why that book I picked, you know, mostly those kind of chords.
Oh, yeah, I mean that makes sense, you know. So for, you know, the flat and the fifth, the tritone, right? The legendary tritone.
Exactly. You can go wrong with a tritone.
Yeah. One thing that this strikes me as quite odd on your website is you have a song for Rocksmith. Is that a form of a Guitar Hero for console?
Yeah, Rocksmith is a software that, you know, you can buy on Steam, or, you know, it's I think it's also on PlayStation or something like this. It's I've never played, you know, Rocksmith before I started this old project. I always played on my own, but, you know, I just discovered that on the internet. I was, oh, that's very interesting. So, you know, all I had to do is to write. It's possible to make these files on your own with all you need to do is to watch a couple of YouTube video, and you'll be able to make your own. So I thought that was an interesting way of showing the songs, and also a fun way to learn the song at some point. You never know. I'm gonna put out an album with Brutal Slam Dead with many notorious drummer, and at some point maybe people will want to play the song, and I just wanted to find another way to promote all of that in a more fun way than just basic tablature, or just a file on Spotify or something like this. So I've been looking around for many other way of promoting the album. So that's for sure something that's going to come out with the album pretty soon. All the songs will be available for Rocksmith if you want to play along with them. And I'm thinking myself to start Twitch at some point, and maybe play the song in front of everybody, and just talking to everybody about those book, and how you can write stuff. So it's coming up for sure.
Yeah, I'm very surprised about the musicians you have. Kevin Paradis, very famous. He got his start with what's his name? Benighted. Yeah, that's where he started from. Well, especially he's known for, right?
That's right. I
Yeah.
just
So
he sent me a preview of his song last week, and it's gonna be kick-ass, man. It's gonna be very insane, and very. There's a lot of blast beat, if I can say.
yeah, he doesn't play underneath 350 BPM.
That's it. So it's gonna be it's an album that's gonna be very different from everybody. What's everybody's doing right now, because I've been using different drummer on each song. So I'm gonna have to mix all of them, in the different way, because every drum sound different. So it's just like a challenge for me as a sound engineer, and it's going to be very cool for people who's going to listen to it, because every song will sound like if they were coming from a different album at some point. It's not going to be the same sound for all the songs. It's going to be a different sound for every song.
Yeah, and you got a lot of great drummers. We have to mention Derek Roddy as well.
Yeah, Derek Roddy, just he was the second one to send me all his files, and the song is all actually mixed, and I'm very proud of it. It's very interesting too. He has been very creative, so it sounds kick-ass, and I really love it. So I can't wait to hear what the other drummer is going to send me, because they just sent me a few previews, but I can't wait to have the real files and start digging into those files, mixing, and getting all the power from their drummers, getting out all the magical of their playing. As a sound engineer, it's always insane to go through mixing songs for hours and hours. So I can't wait to do that.
Yeah, on your biography, it said you were really involved with Blackguard in around 2008. You did American European tours with them for a while, but then you moved on over to the technical side of things. Working, I believe, with a circus at one point, and a cruise ship. Why did you leave the professional musician to focus more on the technical aspects of music and recording?
Yeah, back then uh, I did a lot of touring with the bands, and I really liked the way of I really like that life of being on tour, and doing doing music and all that stuff. But at some point, I was, looking around with technician, when I was on tour, and I was like, wondering if, I could make a better living and could go further in my career if I was switching to be a technician. So this is what I decided to do at the moment. And I couldn't be any that was the best choice of my life, to be honest. After the band, when I left the band, I went on tour with several circus and festivals, and cruise ship, and shows, and all, and many different stuff. And I've been traveling all around the world, and the condition were were better, because that was not, when you're a band, you play in one city one night, and then you have to be to the next city the next night. But when you play, when you work in as a technician into a show, depending on what kind of show, you can stay up to 3 months in one city, especially in circus. And it's you get to have like a real life, like everybody, instead of just running all the time. You can just stay at your apartment, and then go out for dinner, and then come back, and then it's a different life. And that was an amazing life. Touring with circus and touring with cruise ship was like amazing, very, very interesting and very fun way of living, and making your making salary. Because when you're a band, it's very tough to make a salary, because it's the band life. You sleep in the van, and you just play music every day, and there's not so much time for you to relax. You're always on the road. So that was a very good choice for me to leave music and to go through to become a technician. And it's hopefully this is gonna come back at some point, because as I mentioned before, I was supposed to go with Cirque du Soleil on a cruise ship last April, before everything locked down on the planet Earth. And right now, I've been I've been working in some other places, small shop, because I just don't want to stay home and do nothing, because at some point it's boring to stay home and wait until everything come back as before. I thought that it was time would be better and go faster if I was working. And this is what I'm doing right now. And hopefully the restaurant and the shows and everything is gonna come back, and it's gonna be better than before, and we'll be partying all night just like 1 year ago. So I'm very I'm sure that everything will come back, but in a better way. Well, that was just like 1 year of struggling for everybody, but when it's gonna come back, you better be ready, because it's not gonna stop.
So now that you're fully in the technician world, and that you're doing a lot of mixing, a lot of engineering, a lot of mastering, right? You do
That's
all.
it, yeah.
So, what is your mixing philosophy towards metal? Because a lot of our listeners and me, etc., listen to mainly 90s death and black metal, which has a very kind of different production style. I find the stuff nowadays to be kind of sterile. Is there any reason for that, or is that's the way people tastes are moving?
It's always been a problem with how much time you have to do a mix, or how many how much money you or a budget you have to do an album or something like this. Because um, right now it's way easier for everybody to produce, because everybody works with a computer, and everybody can get all the plugins you need to mix an album, and that's it. Back then was a little bit more complicated, because you have to go into a real studio and just work with the engineer right there, and there was only one person like in the city that had the studio, so that's why production were like more expensive, and there was not that much production. But at the same time, back then the sound was the same for pretty much all the bands, because the same guy were mixing all the bands. So at some point, if you use the same mixer, the same preamp, the same microphone, the same room, the same everything, it's not going to be different for every the sound will be pretty much the same for all the bands. We have the same problem right now because everybody's using the same software and the same plugins and the same everything. So the best trick I can give anybody to get their own sound is to try to find their own way of mixing and recording the stuff, and there's nothing wrong about trying to do your own thing your own way. And even if there's people around you telling you that you're doing wrong, when you're doing it, what you hear is what you think it's right. It's right. That's it. So you don't need to watch tons of YouTube video telling you how to mic a guitar cab or in that way, and that's the only way to do it because blah blah blah. You just do it. You just go, put yourself out there, put the microphone in front of the speaker, and listen. You listen to what you're doing, and at some point you'll be up. That's it. That's exactly that type of microphone and that type of emplacement that I want to put my microphone, because what I hear is what I like right now, and that's it. That's all you need to do. And same for drums and same for everything. So it's right now, at the same time, we have tools that we never had before, just like Guitar Pro, and just like a bunch of software and all the those drum machine and all that stuff. So the best thing you can do is to explore and try different kind of plugins and mix different plugins together, and just try to make a Frankenstein out of everything you can find, and not only like trying to use only software, but if you have a microphone available and you are able to record anything around you that could add something to your mix, just do it. Everything that every idea that you have, everything that comes to your mind when you're trying to create something, it's always a good sign. It's always something that is going to push you into a direction that nobody went before, and that's why you're going to end up with something different.
Leading to that, how much do you think is in terms of getting the sound you want, what is in terms of percentage, is it 50-50 skill and skill, knowledge, and the machines you have, or is it mainly based on skill or the equipment you have?
There's no wrong way of doing it. Never. It's just a way of trying stuff. If you get an idea of doing let's say I don't know, you can mic a full drum kit with only one microphone. This is what they did back then in 90s for black metal. And at some point they started to do just like the industry standard with a microphone on every shells and a microphone on every cymbals. But if you decide that you want to have a different sound of the drum, you could like use different type of microphone, anything that it's available to you, or if you are actually just looking around on the internet and finding new ways of recording, let's say different instrument that they just apply to I don't know, could be for a violin or it could be for something else. You just use this technique to a drum, and you might be surprised. You might get something totally insane coming out of it. So and same thing with plugins. You know, there's so much plugins right now. It's amazing. You know, I really like to try them all because I don't know why. I just feel like, you know, it's very nice to listen to each song of a plugin, or you know, it could be like a new piano, or it could be an orchestra or something like this. And I really enjoy to listen to all that. But most of the time, it's like, you know, there's a new plugin. Let's say like it's $1,000. You just, you know, try the free version of the plugin. You try it, and at some point, I'm just like, I don't think it's gonna fit into the mix. You know, even if the plugin is like $1,000. Sadly, it's not gonna fit. So you come back to the free plugin, and you know, it sounds better than, you know, the $1,000 plugin. So yeah, you always have to try stuff to make your own mind about it, and don't be afraid to try different stuff, and to just be creative about your way of, you know, mixing, and your way of finding let's say combination of instrument that's gonna lead you somewhere, and that's gonna be your sound, and you'll be unique about what you did, because you've been trying to find a creative way of doing differently.
That's a lot for everyone who, you know, who's starting out with a cheap Focusrite and you know, the free version of Reaper. Plug in your guitar and do whatever you want.
Well, but Reaper is amazing because this software is a mix of everything, every other software that, you know, best attribute. So and we are lucky because the plugin, the DAW is free, and there's a lot of tutorial on YouTube. So if you want to learn a new DAW, and you want to start, you know, mixing and, you know, recording and all that stuff, Reaper is like the way to go, because it's an open source one, and they always add some more tools into it, and it's amazing stuff. And there's a lot of free plugins on the internet. I think about what is it? It's a free VST.
Yeah, there's a free VST website with a lot of amp sims.
That's it. So you can get a lot of, you know, guitar amp, a lot of keyboards, a lot of, you know, everything. So if you just want to start up, and you want to put some, they even have, you know, any kind of, you know, instrument you can think of, like even like the Japanese or the Chinese, like, you know, instrument. So you can add that to your sound, and you might be surprised. You could just like let's say that you download a Chinese violin, and you just put some distortion over it with echo, and you end up with something that sounds like crazy. You know, it's going to give you ambience that, you know, that's going to be totally different. And over whatever you want to add, you can add some drums over it, and some guitars, and you'll end up with some ambient mixture that's going to be totally out there. And it's just, you know, a way of trying new stuff. That's it.
You know, when I first, when we first got into contact, you know, I heard the song Pandemia, right? And the first thought that came to mind is like, this is from Quebec, you know? You know, Quebec has a rich history of a very aggressive, yet technically proficient death metal, you know? Why is that?
That's a very good question. You know, there's a lot of, you know, very amazing band in Quebec, just like we talked about Cryptopsy and Cataclysm and Gorguts and Martyr, and, you know, there's Iron Dissonance and all that stuff. So It's I can't tell you why, we sound this way, but that's the way we sound. So that's good that everybody likes it. So that's fine. It's we like brutal. We like technicality and brutality for sure. Um, we also have, a lot of black metal coming up from, up north in Quebec here, and we also have, some other musical style, but we mostly recognize for Cryptopsy and Cataclysm for sure. So these bands have been around for many years, and they are really respected here. Everybody likes them, so I can't tell you why, we sound this way, but we're very proud of those bands. So, and when we listen to some bands from France or bands from America, or everybody has his own touch. It's that's why it's so nice to have different style coming from different country, because it's a flavor. It adds a flavor to the metal scene, and it's that's why it gives more interesting way of approaching metal. So um, I really like French death metal too, and French black metal. Man, I love every kind of musical style.
Yes, same here. So, now you're starting your kind of mini empire, metalguitarscales.com. You've told us, briefly about the stuff that you have envisioned for the future. What can you announce for, someone who wants to buy something from you in the next couple of weeks, maybe a month? Is there anything new coming out in that time period? Like,
I'm trying to finish the album for Brutal Slam Dead for sure. There will be an update with the book. Right now, the book is what you have in your hand is like the basic of the book, but I want to push it further for sure. I'm gonna do the same thing for the black metal book. I need to finish the album. I have 1 hour music with this album already. It's already in my computer, but the problem is, I have no time to go through it because I need to finish the first album. And for sure, I want to go and make a book about power metal. It's a style that I really love too, and it's something that it's very melodic and very it's not the same kind of scales and not the same kind of chords. So that's coming up this year for sure, but I don't know when. I have another album that I wrote with a friend that we've been working on that for a long time. It's not a book, but it's most likely melodic death metal. It's probably gonna come out this year too, but it's not gonna be a book. Now what I need to do is I need to the section in the book where you have all the scales that are within the main scale. I need to put out a book with all those scales, with all the fingering, so people can understand what 6 note scale they can do over a 9 note scale with all the fingering. So this has to come out this year for sure too. And I'm thinking, as I said, to do I don't know if I'm going to do a fiverr.com or something else, but it's going to be if people want to reach me on Facebook or with my email, I can make a custom book for you. As I said, all you need to do, you give me all the chords of your riffing, and I will analyze that, and I'm going to send you a document that shows you everything you need if you want to write a lead guitar over your riff or anything you want. You just ask me, and I'm going to do something custom for you, because right now all the scales that I have right now, they've been classified, and I can do that. It's just like reverse engineering. Instead of making a book for a style, I can take someone's riff and analyze it, and then give him back to whatever he needs. If he needs scales to write melodic solo over it, or anything dissonant, or anything he wishes, just all I need is his riff and the notes, and he can get something custom just for him.
I honestly can't wait. I know I'll definitely be ordering something. I think I'll just send you some Guitar Pros I have. This is my style. What can I do with it?
I think this is a very good idea. Man, just send me that to tomorrow, and I will analyze it, and I'll send it back to you. And I would be that would be great. We could try that together, and you can give me some feedback about it, and I think it's a very good idea.
Yes, honestly, I really can't wait because growing up, I was playing guitar in the late 2000s, and for metal, there were no sources. All these books just dealt with the basic. Okay, this is your minor scale. This is your pentatonic. Your right hand goes chug chug chug, and that was it. And now we finally live in this world of people like you who are really making it making metal into kind of some like a serious thing that can be studied properly, that you don't have to spend 10 hours a day listening to Morbid Angel just to figure out how to make a good death metal riff.
Yeah, that's right. But the books back then, I think I have the same. I'm as old as you, so we started, buying tab books from Metallica and Megadeth and all that stuff, and trying to learn those songs back then. And most of the time, you were, I don't know if you encountered that, but Metallica's one, the second riff, if you try to read what's in the tab, it doesn't work. You need to pick it up by ear, because if you just play what's in the tab, it doesn't work at all. So, and there was a one for Iron Maiden with there was the Trooper on the top of the book, but it was a very thick book with a bunch of songs from all the maybe five first albums, something like this, and most of them has only 2-3 riff from the song, and it was very frustrating to have those kind of book that you paid a lot for and didn't have all the information you needed. So but that was before, and right now I'm just trying to get people to what they want faster, because this music is not that complicated, to be honest. It's very easy. But the problem is they made it so complicated that two musicians speak to each other and they don't understand each other, but they speak the same thing. So I just try to cut to all the bullshit and give the give the actual thing that you need to write a song. That's it. I just try to make it as clear and easy for everybody that can actually pick up a guitar and play a riff or a Slayer riff. If you're able to play a Slayer riff, all you need to do is to pick the book and use the same picking that you've been using for Slayer, and just use the new chord in front of your eyes, and you're gonna end up with a riff. That's it. That's easy like that.
Yeah, I love the book. You're not giving out very specific indications, so that there's still it's like all these possibilities open, but you're still in the in the wild west. You still have to figure the rest of the stuff for yourself. No, you're not there to teach people how to write riffs. You're just there to give them options, which is something I really enjoyed about this book.
Yeah, music is should be like this. It shouldn't be like very um Cartesian and very like in a box. It should be like there's a possibility in front of your eyes, and just try anything until you end up with something that you like, because everybody is different and everybody likes different stuff. The only thing that with the book, I assure you, it's mathematically, it's gonna fit. It's not gonna, if you follow the dots in the book, you can go wrong. It's like it's gonna be like perfectly in the scale, and from there you will be able to have other books that's gonna help you to write some lead guitar stuff. Right now it's not available because I need some time to do it, but the only thing I can assure you, it's going to be easy to write stuff because it's a modal songwriter. It's like every mode out there, and it's made in a way to write stuff. And if you have some spare time and you want to try it, go and buy it, and just go try to make a riff with the first scale that you see in the book. And I can only assure you that it's not gonna take a lot of time, maybe 5 minutes before you can get your first riff. And from there, you're gonna increase your abilities to write riff, and it just can explode at some point. You'll become like a songwriter within weeks or months.
Yeah, I mean, I found it very easy, especially with this style of music. It's very easy, to make tremolo picking patterns, that last like a bar each. So in the 16th note, so just to get a good feel of it. I'm absolutely loving this book. I know Jan from Samoth is he's adoring. He's constantly sending me stuff that he made with this. Honestly, it's a great book. And then I need to test out the chords because that seems a bit trickier. When you don't have an example of like a lead or something, to really use those chords to their full potential.
Well, the best way to do is to start with the bottom line. You have the tabs at the bottom, and just above that you have the power chords. So your first, let's say that you want to play safe. Your first chord would be like the first one, which is like open. If you're drop, it's like going to be open the first the 6, 5, and 4th string. But if it's like in standard, it's going to be like the first power chord. If you come back to this chord every once in a while, you will most likely write something that is going to be just like easy. So that first chord at the bottom should be like the one that come back the more often in your riff, let's say, or just the open string, the 6th string open. And standard E would be E. If you come back to this note a lot, that would like help you a lot. So what you do is like let's say you pick any chord, and then you come back to the open chord, open string, and you try another chord and come back to the open string again, and from there you're gonna build. And I can assure you it's not gonna take a long time until you find your own way of using those cards, because your brain's gonna be like, I don't like that, I like this. And this is what you need to follow. When your brain is telling you like, I don't like this, I like that, go for what you like. And it's going to be super easy, man.
I think that about wraps us up. So you can find any of the book, this book, and the brutal death metal one on MetalGuitarScales.com. Also available on Facebook as well. Yes, Facebook, and Facebook and your website, and you also have a Bandcamp with the song Pandemia available. So I really recommend that for anyone who's a guitarist, even a bassist, you can follow along.
So, that's right. You make a point right there. I'm gonna do a book for bassists, this year for sure.
Yes. So anyone can get on, and I sincerely recommend this book and the whole thing, and I'll be following very closely in the next couple of months, and I can't wait to see how big this gets, and what as songwriters we're able to do out of all this stuff you're creating.
Nick, thank you very much, man, for having me on this podcast. I really appreciate it, and I just want to thank everybody who's listening to that. And I just want to tell you that you have the power within you to become a songwriter. So just go ahead and start right now. That's it. Don't think too much about if am I going to be able to. Oh, no, you can do it. Everybody can do it. It's just you need to throw yourself out there and just start, to write some stuff, and you will end up with an album. It's going to be super, fast for you to get, all the riffs. And I encourage everybody to write some music, because we can just end up with better music if everybody writes music. And we're gonna have, a new metal era that we've been waiting for so long. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Nick. And I can't wait to release more books. And and if anybody have any question, come and see me on Facebook, and I'll be more than happy to answer you.
Thank you very much, Kim.
Thank you, man.